Mr. Mayor, Councilman, I'd like to start my comments by saying I wish you all good luck in making a decision in the coming 2 weeks after you allowed what input there's going to be. I would like to reiterate that ostensibly this is a question of how we're going to spend $25,000 or not spend $25,000. In 2020, we kicked the can down the road, even though we had begun the discussion as early as November of 2018 about the ordinance. At that point, we decided not to even make it a public issue, that we would involve the public at a later date, that we would just pass up this first deadline and have our normal election cycle. Now, I'd like to tell you how irresponsible I think it is that we've waited 3 years and created the narrowest window of opportunity to have any public input, but in 3 minutes, I just can't afford to waste the time. So what I want to do instead is to say this. We only had the conversation in November of 2018 because our town clerk, Francella Garcia, looked for instruction from the council and the mayor as to whether to prepare the ordinance and to post the 14-day advance notices of the agenda item in the paper as legally required. Just doing her job. I suspect we're right back there. She's sharp-eyed. She keeps an eye on the calendar and the clock, and she knows we're back at another deadline. But this time now we've got the ordinance. Now, we're under no pressure to opt in at this point. We've already kicked the can down the road once. And I don't think the town went broke, even during the COVID year, paying that extra 20 or 25 grand, if it's that much money. And we certainly can do that again. So the expense of $20,000 or $25,000 is a very shallow excuse to extend terms 22 months. Now, it's quite reasonable to truncate your term by 9 weeks and stand for election in November as opposed to March. It only impacts the amount of time that you have for a campaign, but trust me, there's more than enough time to make a public case for whatever agenda you want. And if you've got one, if you've got aspirations, if you're like Mr. Bellish and you think it heartbreaking that you didn't get to do everything that you were meant to do, then just state it publicly. Run your campaign based on those commitments and see if you get elected. If you don't, it won't be a heartbreak, it'll be honesty. It'll be you being honest, and it'll be the public being honest with you about whether they like you or not. That's the choice we've got.